So for us, our mission at Voltality is to enable discoverability and accessibility for charging. So we've been spending the last 2 to 3 years working with operators across multiple countries where EV adoption has picked up to build connectivity and enable charging in a broader ecosystem standpoint, where it is for consumers or for fleets to find stations and to access them within an interface that they would use for payments, or they would use for navigation, or they would use for other functions.
Basically, for EV drivers, what they need is not only charging, not only the accessibility and discoverability of the charging, but also the convenience of ownership. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to revolutionize the ownership experience or the driving experience of an EV. How do we actually make it different compared to an ICE car? So it's a question of what the other guy doesn't get. So ICE customers can't really have a concierge that not only fuels the car, keeps it juiced up, it keeps it looking nice, it also keeps it maintained, and all of this is at your fingertips. So the reason that we want to partner with Voltality and P.UP is actually to make this accessible to all EV users through P.UP's impressive network, whereby they work with hundreds and thousands of fixed chargers. And think of this as not only will you have access to traditional fixed chargers, but now you have a charger that comes to you, plus other services.
So for us, we are focused on making it easier to find and to pay. The most direct way of doing it is to support open payments. How do I replicate that experience when I go to the petrol pump? I just pay with a card, I scan a QR code, and I pump my gas. So we have 2 product lines, VoltPOS, VoltNow. These are more focused on the accessibility portion. We have software that we use that we can run on certified payment terminals, or you can host it in the cloud as a web page. Allow drivers to pay Apple Pay, Google Pay, PayNow, whatever local payment methods. And the main idea is no signups, no downloads. But that doesn't help with discoverability. How do I find the station? So VoltNet is our roaming gateway. We work with different charging operators, both locally and across borders. We fit to the software that they use, so we try to minimize the amount of change that each operator needs to do. And on our end, we act like a translation system. So like a Google Translate. Combine it into a single language. We make it available to payment apps, so we make it available to navigation providers, to commercial fleet systems, any kind of partner that's servicing a driver. And we help them provide more contextualized, more seamless access to find and pay for charging. That's the whole goal in giving a more delightful experience to a driver for looking at EVs.
And on the same vein, P.UP actually aims to provide the convenience in terms of ownership of an EV. So we want to make it seamless in terms of how you actually use your EV. So instead of having to actually plan, so even if you drive an ICE car, you still need to go to the petrol station. You still need to clean your car. You still need to service your car. What if there were a fairy godmother that does all this for you seamlessly at the touch of your fingertips? And that is exactly the kind of experience that P.UP is trying to provide to EV users.
So we are trying to provide a complete package to drivers who are sitting on the fence, thinking, should I shift from ICE to EV? Price of ICE and price of EVs are becoming comparable. Price of charging and refueling tends to see a big savings between charging, right, when you shift over. The next part is the assurance and confidence of a customer, right? When I get an EV, I'm looking not only at the daily journeys that I'm making, if I'm a consumer, but I'm also thinking, what if I go overseas on a road trip? What if I have a lot of errands to run and I need to shuttle between many different places? If I'm a fleet and thinking of all the routes that I have to serve, of all the drivers that I need to onboard onto EV, they may be looking at different locations, or they might going across countries. There's a lot of considerations around range and around anxiety of, will there be enough charge? Will there be something that supports my particular use case? Building a network of static stations is the foundation. You need to be able to show that yes, a lot of places that you go, there will be ability to charge. But then of course there's a consideration of time and the availability of the station, right? It could be a packed place. So adding that option to say, look, if your vehicle breaks down on the road, don't worry, there's ability to recover it. Beyond that, if time is so important to you, where you want that convenience to come in and to charge when you're taking a break, not necessarily requiring you to drop off at a particular static station, then we can also offer that together with a partnership with P.UP. Or you also want to settle your weekly or monthly grooming for your vehicles. That kind of a holistic experience is something that we can enable with a partnership between both static and dynamic. So it's complementary. You need both to give a total experience where a driver cannot say, oh, driving a petrol vehicle is actually better. Right? There's a lot more perks to using an EV.
We are aiming to give the consumer or EV owner the best of both worlds, and that is not often achieved. But in this context, it is something that is very, very possible because P.UP already has a very wide network of fixed charging stations. By adding P.UP services, be it mobile charging or ancillary services for grooming, for maintenance, for other things, you are basically able to have your cake and eat it. This is the direction that we are looking to develop. And into the future, there will be other things. Now, when you have more time, it also means that we are then able to create more value propositions for you because you have more time. So this is only the beginning. We are here to solve the basic fundamental hassles of ownership. But in the future, we will actually look to go beyond that and also provide more perks and even more unassailable reasons why you should buy an EV compared to an ICE vehicle.
So I think there's plenty of opportunities to build on a holistic experience for EV drivers. The start is simply providing a package option of either static or dynamic charging. But as the market grows, as you have more people shifting to EVs, right? As the total number of the vehicles in the market grows, there will always be worries around availability of charging stations. There will always be an increase in the needs for servicing of the vehicles as well. So I think that we can look at this as the first stepping stone, and from here on out, by partnership with the mobility partners, with the charging operators, understanding where their needs and where their wants happen. Based on this starting package, we can then build additional services. And I think ultimately the goal is how can we grow the EV ecosystem together.
So stay tuned for more offerings, value propositions, and exciting tie-ups that we're going to bring to the market for EV users. Bye!